Thank you. That sounds brighter and better. Now, let's give a good morning to all the beautiful women in the house today. Guys, let's say good morning, women. Tell them how beautiful they look. If there's any woman beside you, make sure you compliment her. You look absolutely beautiful. Oh, Auntie Obi, you look amazing. Oh, Sister Debbie, you look beautiful in this green. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you. So it's a good thing to be alive, of course. And we enjoy the grace and the mercy that the Lord provides to us, and the Lord supplies us by His mercy all the time. Today is family, friends, and neighbors service. It's service unusual. That's what we call it. And our subject of discussion today is not one that we often will find in the church because we're more focused on getting born again and being transported to heaven. Is that it? No, it's not. Because we live here on earth. The Bible speaks of the earth being the Lord's and its fullness. It means that God is passionate about the state of the earth, governance, everything that happens within it. And that's the call that we all have as Christians. When the Bible speaks in the book of Isaiah about the government being upon a shoulder, and for me, what comes to mind is just that God has given us the burden to carry governance, to show forth the glory of Jesus. He says, of the increase of His government there shall be no end. So when Proverbs now references and says righteousness exalts a nation, it means that we who are carriers of the increase of His government, the righteous ones, should not be missing in the play of or in governance generally. So today, the theme of today's service is called the increase of His government. That is the Christian politics and governance. But I will first of all read. I'll read our scripture for today. The anchor scripture for today is from Isaiah chapter 9, verse 7. It says, of the increase of His government and peace there shall be no end, upon the throne of David and upon His kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. I have a quote here from Ken Lish. He's a vicar of, Center Point. He says, all Christians are political, whether they realize it or not. But especially when they don't realize it. That means if you do not realize that you are political, then you are actually, of all members, miserable. Because something is happening that on your behalf that you're not a party to. It goes further to say that the key point is to realize that we are involved in any way. We have no choice about being political, because if we choose not to engage, then it is a vote for the status quo, the way things are. The conversation today is on politics and the Christian participation in politics. And I'm sure that we have people in house today who will do very good justice to that conversation. But before we go to our guest, I want to ask you something this morning, and we're going to do a quick exercise. I want you to quickly close your eyes and imagine for a moment, just imagine any political or politician that you know, anyone or any world leader, anyone who comes to mind, maybe one or two, just imagine. Imagine, you don't have to, you can write the name down in case you forget. Okay, so anyone want to tell me who comes to mind? Obama, Fashola, who else? Mandela. Anybody else? Amazing. Anyone thought about a woman? You did, yes. Except Pastor Chesson. If a woman came to mind, can you just raise your hand? Now, that's the point. A woman just won't come to mind for many of us. Today being Mother's Day, we're also going to beam the spotlight on women participation in governance and politics. We will touch on that as much as we will talk on our general participation in politics. I'll give some quick statistics before we get into that. The one that came to my mind was Ketanji Brown Jackson. She was amazing. That's a woman who's on a mission and who has a mind. She's not waiting for things to be handed to her. She's taking it by storm. So, and that's the charge for all the women today. We will not sit down. We will not wait. We will rise up. We will prove ourselves, and we will do it, and we will take it. Absolutely. If we want to clap, we can clap. Okay, so thank you very much. I say here that when women are empowered, when women are not empowered, the society is denied from benefiting from the vastness and the richness of our nurturing nature. There's a reason why people say charity begins at home. When they say that, or when you find someone who's misbehaving in public, people will say the mother did not train him or her well. It means there is a nurturing power that the woman carries. And that is required in government as well. I would say the best man for the job is who? A woman. A woman remains the best man for the job. It would interest you to note that only 21% of government ministers were female. And with only 14 countries, this is just general across the world. And these are statistics from the UN Women. That's UN, United Nations Entity for Gender Equality and Empowerment of Women. It says only 21% of government ministers were female. And with only 14 countries who have achieved 50% of more women in cabinet. And at the last general elections here in Nigeria, only 13% of candidates were women, even though women make up to almost 50% of registered voters. So we vote as women. I hope we vote as Christians. But I know that women vote. And that's some staggering numbers. So we say 7 out of our 108 senators are women. 7 out of 108 here in Nigeria. About 22 out of 306 members of the House of Rep. 22. So why does gender really matter in politics? Why do parties not field women as candidates in politics? Is it that we can't win? Or is it that we're not just a bankable candidate or a winnable candidate? Or the woman has not just proven herself. She needs to do extra to prove herself. And I speak not only of politics. Why isn't the woman getting the highest seat in the office space or in the corporate environment? So it's okay to just have a woman present on the board. Yeah, let's put her there as the chair. Okay, at least gender participation, gender equality, gender this, gender that. But that's not it. And I'm not one speaking about women getting things because we want to give it to us, give us a space, give this, give that. No. I'm also charging us in whatever space and institution that we find ourselves. Empower the girl child, empower the woman in your space. Do the best that you can. Do not let it end with Happy Mother's Day. Be the one who champions the cause for a woman. Why? Because it's her right. It's not just a deserve. Do it. And we will make Nigeria a better place. Are we looking for a transformational leader in Nigeria? We want change to happen. How about giving women a trial? Let's not ask the question of competence, because men have not proven either to be competent. So he chuckled. Okay, am I right or right? Okay, great. So I have to be right anyway. Okay, so, but that's it. That's the general context that we're setting today. I'll cite some good examples. We have Deborah in the Bible. It's not far from the Bible, so that we don't think that is church a political campaign today. No, it's not. We have Deborah in the Bible. We have Miriam. We have Huldah. We have Esther. We have Mary Magdalene. We have Lydia. We have Mary of Bethany. We have the daughters of Zelophehad, where all of them were sterling examples of women who thrived in a male-dominated space, especially in that era that was wholly mainly patriarchal. Now, the book of Judges in chapter 4 and 5 tells us about the great leadership that Deborah provided in the journey and in the lives of the people of Israel at that time. Exodus tells us about Miriam. You know Miriam, the sister of Moses, where in our own case, when Israel were crossing over the Red Sea, she picked up a musical instrument, led worship. Not only did she do that, I think in the book of Micah, it was also recorded of her as being one of the major leaders, of course, supporting Aaron and Moses during their time. There is Huldah. Huldah was a prophetess, and she led a national reform. As recorded in 2 Kings 22, when the righteous King Josiah found a long-lost book of the law, knowing the kingdom needed revival, who did he call on? He called on the prophet and also added Huldah. So Huldah made an interesting contribution to the restoration of Israel at that time. Of course, we all know the story of Esther. Esther is not far off. She was an incredible leader. She took on the work, and she did work for the emancipation of Israelites when they were at the point of near extinction, when someone was going to just wipe them out. We could go on about Mary Magdalene, Mary of Bethany, the daughters of Zelophehad, who were going to be denied inheritance because they were women and there were no men in their tribe. But they stood up to the elders of the age and they got their right. So, is the shape of leadership anything to do with gender? It shouldn't. It doesn't. There is no hormones. Leadership is not determined by your hormones or by your gender or by anything. It is just about competence, ability to deliver, and above all, women believing in ourselves. Believing in ourselves and supporting other women. Guess what? I was discussing with someone yesterday and he asked me, MKO Abiola, did Christians vote for him or not? We did, overwhelmingly. Why? Because we believed in the cause that he was promoting. We thought he was competent. So it's a question of competence. It's a question of somebody who has, the willpower to make an indeed genuine interest in making a change happen. That's what we should all strive for. I'm not saying vote a Christian, vote a Muslim. I'm just saying vote and let your vote count and vote meaningfully. Vote meaningfully. Let's not continue on this fringe political thing that we all do. Oh, if he's in APC or PDP, he's not a good person. Therefore, let's go and vote for the one on the side. I beg, that one is more righteous, is more moral. That's not the point. But we just must ensure that we look well and we believe, follow ideologies, follow things that represent what we stand for as Christians. That being said, we have our guests in our midst today. Please, let's put our hands together for them as I quickly read the profile of our incredible panelists who are joining us today. They have done great work in their various fields. Advocate for change, advocate for citizen empowerment, advocate for, political participation across board. I would introduce the man first, and I first must apologize. Our third speaker is just unavoidably absent today. Had to fly into Abuja, and so he won't be present. That is Dayo Israel. He sends his apologies. I think flight and all of that delays, and we know what the situation is with flights today. So if he makes it, fine. If it doesn't, please pardon him and pardon us as well. Thank you. Now I would introduce our first panelist. His name is Kule Lawal. He's an entrepreneur, an idea generator, a politician, a TEDx speaker, and above all, a patriot. He has keen eye for opportunities based on his experience in politics, working with non-governmental organizations and of course the federal government. He is passionate about Nigeria and is what could have been termed a detribalized Nigeria. So Kule belongs to no tribe. He considers his boundaries to be limitless and is really focused on changing the Nigerian narrative in political participation. And it's with this tenacity he currently serves as the executive director of the Electoral College Nigeria and country lead Word Chat Nigeria. He also was once acting National Publicity Secretary of Kule Party, Alliance for New Nigeria FCT, and the Alliance for New Nigeria FCT senatorial candidate in 2019. Members of Forest House of Lagos, our senators here present. Please let's put our heads together as we welcome the distinguished man, not too young to run. He ran. And he's going to tell us today more about your experience. Thank you very much, Kule. Appreciate that. Absolutely. Thank you. Our second panelist, who by no means is no list, she's a woman. She's amiable. She's beautiful. She's vocal. She stands She takes no hostage. That's just the word I want to say. So her name is Ariola Oloko. She holds a Bachelor's of Art degree in Early Childhood Studies and a Master's degree in Public Health, both from the University College Cork, Ireland. She's a certified mediation advisor and a member of SCMA, Standing Conference of Mediation Advocate Nigeria. She was one of the few Nigerian women who contested for electoral office in the 2019 elections, and she contested for a place in the Lagos State House of Assembly. She's very passionate about her community and participates in medical intervention, social intervention, and education. First in our local community in Lagos State, and then in Eastern, Western, and Southern Nigeria as a volunteer. Working with multidisciplinary team in the field to address health inequalities, this brought her to the realization that only game changers is policy change, which can only be actualized by having credible people in places of authority. So she decided to get actively involved in politics, known today as a politician, as an educationist. Hopefully, she believes that with combined experience of over 25 years as an educationist, businesswoman, philanthropist, community development expert with emphasis on health promotion and mediation, that would help in achieving a lot of these goals. She believes in reducing inequalities in the society via participatory democracy. And to this end, our greatest desire is to partner with transformers to train and support the next generation of female politicians, including women with disabilities, youth who are the wealth of our country and are shamefully underutilized. Ariola Oloko is married with 2 children. Please, Potter's House of Lagos, let's welcome Ariola Oloko. You're welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much for being here. Center seat. Thank you. Okay, church, we know as we go, please note your questions down, and the conversation will be brief, and our Q&A session would also be brief, because today we're celebrating our mothers, but we will tackle, issues that we just bring to fore very quickly. So let's note our questions down in good time. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. I'm so excited. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so my first question is one that I hear a lot. So they say politics is dirty, very dirty. Politics is a dirty game. And I know you both are politicians. So how dirty are you?
They said was politics is dirty, not the people do it in politics. Okay, yeah, so I think it's also something that the media has sold to us for a long time. And media is one of our major problems, and that's how stereotypes are formed. So you hear things like, oh, a woman in politics is a prostitute. Where did that come from? Why is a man in politics not a prostitute? Do you understand? Why? I mean, what's the difference? So it's something that the media has sold to us, that it is dirty. It can be overwhelming. It can be a lot, but it's something that we can do. We've done worse things. Giving birth to kids alone is something.
Okay, Chairman Electoral College. Okay, tell me, how dirty? You're wearing white though, so I'm not sure I can spot any dirt yet.
I just wanted to say I'm a politician and I'm wearing white, so you can't say politics is dirty. But that's the political statement. Okay. Trust me, I already influenced how you were thinking because I said that. Is politics dirty? No, it isn't. I think we formed a culture in our minds in Nigeria because we have thought maybe politics is something distant from us. So we've refused to engage it. So we've built a culture in our head that this is how politics is. I ran for Senate in 2019, Nigeria's largest senatorial constituency, which is Abuja. I didn't attend 2 o'clock meetings. I didn't dance around any statue. I was 4th out of 21, not too bad. And I was already 39 years old, so push that, not too young to run. I'm not part of that. So, but we have to encourage the young ones to run. So, is politics dirty? No, it isn't. But have we created a culture to keep the people that should be part of it, like Christians, the youth, women, yes, we've told them a lie so that they'll stay away from it.
Wow, incredible. Okay. So that's a good place to start. How did you get into politics? Could you just tell us a bit about it? And how can I do it if I have to?
Wow, you really want to put me on the spot. Anyway, I was born to two lecturers. I need to start this from the beginning. So that I was born to two lecturers. I went to Ahmadu Bello University. I didn't know anything about SUG politics. I never touched anything. You can't find any history of me in politics more than 9 years. The last 9 years. But somewhere along the line, I started to understand, first, a few things happened. So let me rush over it. First, a cousin got shot while trying to use an ATM in Kogi State. And then when I was having my son, he was a preemie baby, and we know what happens with that situation. And there was this driver in Nipos that was there, and our babies were on oxygen. This was about 7,000 naira an hour as of 2016 when he was born. And the Nipos dad, they almost took his daughter out of the incubator, all because he couldn't afford it. So the fathers that were in the emergency room then, intensive care room then, we just decided to put together money. And I realized that this is a situation, this is a failure of policy. And I jumped into politics. I knew that the only way to, and my power, then of course I went for a legislative office. I must also add that while running for office, I proposed 49 bills during campaigns. That's higher than any legislator in Africa, so you can clap for me. But I'll be honest, how does the son of two lecturers born within a university quarters get into politics? I love my country. That's how I got into politics. I love my country enough. I participated within the system. I've grown to understand the Constitution. I'll tell you, you can't engage a system that you don't understand. Absolutely. So major problem in Nigeria is, first, we do not understand the Constitution. And because we don't, and a lot of people tell you it's bad, meanwhile, people telling you that it's bad have not read it. And let's also say that the Constitution itself is not implemented to 40%. So I got into politics to change narrative, finished my running for office, and we started the Electoral College. And we've trained over 7,000, and I intend to push that to 100,000 for 2023. And we're doing a lot of work. Simple.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you. Do you want to tell us a bit about your own journey?
Okay, so for me, I was that person that would sit in front of a television when they say something, I'll be shouting, "What do? They've stormed again. What is all this rubbish? How can they say this and that and that? How much? Show us the money. What did they do with it? What did they?" I was that. When you're playing, when men play soccer, watch soccer at home, the way they shout, that's how I was. And I decided, what? Let me put my money where my mouth is. Let me go and join a political party. So this morning I got up and I went to join a political party. I got to the place to join the party. It was a shame. It was ridiculous. They trivialized. I was all dressed up. I was so thinking, yes, I'm going to join a political party. I have to look the part. I got there. They made a mockery of the whole situation and the whole thing. I thought, egg me. This was going to happen. So I decided, that, not only will I join a party, I will be part of the process so that I can vet whoever it is that's coming in. Because I tell you, I'm contesting next year. If I take my form, the people that will have to sign my forms are the people at the grassroots. And if you and I are not there, we're not playing our parts. And that's the truth of the matter. I would really like to explain to you the process, because we don't know the process. Yeah. People say to me, after I had an altercation one time, people came and said to me, "Oh, so are you going to be the next senator?" I'm like, how? Is that how it works? But the truth of the matter is that people don't understand how it works. There's a process to it, but the first thing is that all politics is local. So you have to all join the political party. If you want to put your money where your mouth is, there's no point in sitting at home shouting. If you are shouting at home and you don't have your PVC, if you are shouting at home and you don't belong anywhere, you don't have to be a politician to belong to a political party, but you have to be part of the process. Without being part of the process, you have no business making noise about it. Thank you.
Absolutely, you are spot on. Okay, so I know within us as Christians, we get it's more or less a culture of abstinence. We stay off. I beg. I don't want trouble. I don't want wahala. So, what should the Christian do in this kind of situation? As a Christian, what is your role in governance and in politics?
Okay.
What should be your role?
Okay, first, I'm clear that God gave us dominion over everything. Was it some of the things? No. It's everything, Abby? Okay, that includes politics and governance. But first, I'm going to define politics and governance. Politics is the vehicle to office. It's whatever you do which involves joining a political party. And I like what she said. You know, in Nigeria, we think that we have an election here. We don't have an election. We have a selection. And here's why. You're not in the political party. You don't know how the candidate emerged. So you just have Ibrahim, Eze, and Sani. Ibrahim, Eze, and what they call it. And I'm trying to pick a Yoruba name. Let me use Kule. Ibrahim, Eze, and Kule. And they just appeared from nowhere. As long as you're not part of the system, allowing the delegates emerge, allowing the candidate emerge, aspirant emerge as a candidate, you're not doing anything. You're just voting people that other people choose for you. So it's always a selection for you. You don't understand. So we need to be part of the process in politics. Now I'm going to define governance. Now governance is deliverables of services, or how would I put it, output to those that are in the electorate. The problem always in Nigeria is the inability to separate governance from politics. Like, I'll tell you something. There is no party that has won any state. Everybody is sworn to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You're not sworn to a party flag. You don't perform within the auspices of a party. Yes, a party wins the seat, but the moment you read that, you of course take your oath of office, you represent a country, a state, or a constituency. You are not representing a political party. That is I don't know who created that curtain that has blinded most of us. So as Christians, as long as you have your first constitution, which is the Bible. The second constitution is your constitution of your country. As long as you stick to that, and I stuck to that. I came in here. Did you see 30 PAs? Did you see the entourage? I'm just an average guy. That was my campaign slogan, just like you. I wasn't pulling. I could have worn a Barbaric guy here, worn a cap, pulled all to what end? And as a Christian, you must understand, one of the key things is humility. It's needed in politics and governance, something that is missing totally in Nigeria. So as long as you keep to the core tenets of our faith, you will be able to navigate these waters simply. And that's how I look at it, simply.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. As long as you keep to the tenets of our faith, you'll be able to navigate this. Now, a lot of people stick to the tenets of their faith and they abstain from politics. So they lead the triangular life. Eventually, when they want to participate, they think it ends with just getting the PVC. What power does that PVC carry, and how much would that impact? I know that it does, there's a measure to which it would impact, but what power does it carry? Why do I need to get my PVC, and how much of change would happen with that?
So in a democracy, like we all know, the only way for anybody to get into power is to be elected. So that's the power the PVC carries, because that is your vote, and that's how people can get elected into offices. But then there's a process before that as well, which is the process I was trying to bring you out in having been involved locally. So for me now, I have a form. That form will be signed by my ward leader, my ward chairman, my local government chairman, my state chairman. Who is my ward leader? Who is my local government chairman? Who is my state chairman? Do you understand? And that's the same for everybody, really. That's how the process is. So, I mean, we really need to pay attention to the fact that, okay, I'm a Christian, I don't want to be involved. But you see, when these things happen, whether you were involved at the beginning or not, the process, the policies that they bring out affect you, affect your businesses, affect your children, affect us. So what's the point of saying I don't want to be involved, I'm a Christian? We're not going to pray it away. There's no magic wand that will disappear. So PVC is important, and it's important that you exercise your rights as citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by going to vote. But it is far more important for you to be part of the process from the beginning. So I joined the second party. I moved from my party to another party. After the last election, I spent 3.5 years trying to convince people that we could do a third force. But that third force meant commitment. You cannot be a third force without being committed to it. It's a lot of work to have party structure, to have parties all over. I mean, to be able to cover, let us even say the 20 local governments in Lagos State, for instance, alone. Then you now go to another state, you go to Benue, you go to whatever. So you can imagine the kind of work that it involves. But nobody had that. I could not find, maybe not say nobody, I'm sorry to say that. I could not find people that were dedicated enough, that were ready to go through that process. It's a sleepless night. When I went to the review, the constitutional review, when I was part of the process, it took me a whole month to convince my peers that we should actually look at the constitution, review it, and make our recommendations. Everybody said, please, I beg, Nigeria, it's just a joke. No, they're not serious about it. They're not being honest about it. I said, you cannot say that except you are part of the process. Do you understand? You cannot just sit down at home and say, I won't do anything because they will not do it. You play your part, and then let us see what would happen. And as God will have it, we did play our part. We got there, and we saw that they were trying to get us out of the process, and I protested against it. So we have a voice. Let us use our voice.
Absolutely. Please go ahead.
I'd like to add a second end to the PVC, and I want to make this a little bit interactive. So let me see how politically aware we are. Is there anybody that knows the second use of a PVC here? Anybody? Not means of identification. That one is wrong. I'm just telling you ahead of time, it's wrong. Anybody? No, vote is one. Second. Okay. She's running for legislative office, right? So I'll tell you the second use. You don't have to wait 4 years to remove her. You can recall her. And this system is it's available, but people think it's cumbersome. You don't need to wait 4 years to remove someone in legislative office. Legislative office will refer to State House of Assembly, House of Rep, and Senate. All you need to do is gather people that vote. They don't even need to vote. You need to understand the total number of people that voted in the election that brought her in. So let's just say State House of Assembly, approximately 18,000. Let's use 18,000. So 18,000 people participated in an election. To remove her, you need 50% plus 1. That will be 9,000 plus 1 PVCs and signatures of people that have PVCs. And she's gone. It's automatic. There's no court, nothing. INEC receives the signatures, she's gone. Sorry, I didn't tell you people to do that to her. I'm just teaching you the second use of the PVC.
That's true. That's true, but surprisingly, when you tell people that, they say, who go fight for us? Then they go come bring soldier, kill all of us.
I think that there was even an instance of it that happened during the last dispensation. But still, I'm not sure that it was really followed to fruition. So the ideal is there. The attempt to make the ideal happen is also there. At least the people attempted, and that's the joy of saying don't give up. If you really are a patriot, if you really are passionate about the nation, one flaw don't mean that you should give up. But we'll keep trying as Christians or as Nigerians or as people who are desirous of change. Do you see Nigeria ever getting a female president? I'm just asking now in honor of our women. I'm asking you, man. Yes.
Okay. I can give you a political answer, a realistic answer.
You are in church.
Okay, I'm in church. Okay, so I'm giving a realistic answer. Okay. I'll tell you, you don't have to be political about this. I'm a politician. I'll start from the beginning. So I was brought into politics by Professor Remy Shonaya within Kule Lawal. So of course I must have believed a woman can be part of it. Now, what do I think working across political parties and working with the system? I would say women have started speaking, which is something that is going somewhere. But too many of you are just still doing break the bias behind computer screens. I'm being honest. So if you look at it averagely, How do you have more Nigerian women in the British Parliament or in the US Congress than we have in Nigeria? It's not, no party stopped you. Look, let me tell you the truth. I've sat down at national level in party politics. Not too many women walk into the door. That's the problem. It's always been the problem. See, we can say it anyhow and make it beautiful. Okay, I didn't give a political answer. I gave an honest answer. So, not many women walk into the door. I can tell you that probably if you take the ratio of the women that are going to buy forms in 2023, you're not going to have up to 600. I'll tell you the truth. Politics is hard. It is hard. For even a guy, it's hard. Don't deceive yourself. Don't think it's a gender thing. It's hard. But the truth is, if more women came into the doors, if more women decided to join a political party, take positions within the delegate system, they will decide, okay, Fumi should be our candidate if there are more women participating within the party and voting. That's the truth. That's the only way it's going to work. If we sit down and say, okay, let's break the bias, let's take some pictures and do whatever. No, it's not.
No, I definitely know it's beyond taking pictures. I know it's beyond taking pictures, and I know that there is a lot happening in the women's space, starting with some of the bills that have been put forward and a number of advocacy. I know you are in particular, are working hard on that, getting more women participating in politics. And I would like you to touch on that, even also touch on I know it's expensive actually, the cost of even getting a form and all of those things, and then people not putting funds behind a woman because they don't think she will win. You know, it's all, there's a whole ripple effect that goes on with it. Just touch on your experience and your engagement with women.
So I'm going to start with affirmative action and how we react to it. So the theory behind it is not that we're saying put women that are not competent. Mm-hmm. That's not it. Mm-hmm. The theory behind it is not that we're saying because she's a woman, put her there. Yeah. No, that's not it. The thing behind it is that we're being assertive. We're trying to make sure that we are in the forefront, that you are thinking of us. Because like I said, the three things that are a problem to us is men, media, and money. Amen. And that's the truth. Men, media, and money. Those are the three things that are an obstacle.
Hope the men are allowed to respond.
Wait.
It's not a debate. Please go ahead, please.
So according to a gender gap report that was done, it says for equal representation, it will be very difficult. Take 99 years if we continue at the pace that we're continuing. So we need to increase our pace. We need to be more assertive, and we need to participate. We don't have 99 years to wait. I don't know about you. I don't have 99 years. 99 years, well, we need to prepare it for our children, but not 99 years. You know what I mean? So we really need to participate. Now, about politics being expensive. Politics is expensive. So when I wanted to start politics, you know how you go to all these talks that women will come. I went to one. They said, politics is expensive. But one said I sold my diamond. The other one said I sold Kinikon. This is me looking at myself and saying, which one will I even sell? This is my second-hand clothes. Or which one will I sell, you know? And I was totally confused. I was thinking, are you sure I'm going to sit down at home? You know, they put me off, but that's not true. That's not how it works. You will get people to support you. So we'll crowdfund, we do all kinds of things. And you know what? Even the forms that they collect, for women, in some parties is free. My party is free for women. That's what you don't know. It is free. You pay for your intention and all that, but for the forms, it is free. So we're getting to the stage where parties are actually taking us, because they themselves, if the parties do not do that 35%, you're not going to get there. That 35% up there is not going to happen, because it has to start from party level. So some parties are being very conscious about it, and this is one of the ways that are going about it. Yes, everything you pay for, we know, and it is an expensive thing, but men do it. It's because for such a long time, women haven't been able to get to that place where we are financially, what's the word to use now, for short of putting ourselves down. I really don't want to, you know, comfortable enough to be able to do it. When a man comes out to run, nobody says to him, doesn't have money now. It's never a topic that comes up. Because when you want to give, if I was standing and running and Kule was running, and I say, please donate money to my cause, and I tell you, like, this is my crowdfund account, please now, you people will give me 10,000 and give him 200. You will give me, it's true, because it is true. It is statistics. It is proven. I don't talk out of emotions, though.
Wait. Yeah, I'd like to add this here.
Okay.
So my race in Abuja is quite a story, and I was able to achieve quite a lot of things. I was able to crowdfund about 39.5 million naira. And I was able to, be in the greenhorn out of an election, pull up over 11,000 votes in Abuja, which is quite massive for someone who's, not the average. So I have a story. Now, this elections, which is 2023, I'm not participating. I'm looking towards something, and I want to grow through the political system. It doesn't mean I'm going to still run, just not now. So I'm consulting for a lot, unpaid though. But now, here's the catch. I'm only consulting for one male aspirant. The other 9 are women. So, and this is part of, and even within the electoral college which we run, we have women to men 3-1. So there are a lot of us that are trying to ensure that, female participation, because I don't believe in governance without inclusion. It's not possible. I'll be honest, I've run for office before, and I'll tell you, I could only rely on the women that were supporting me. And I'll tell guys, we know us now. I won't say anything more.
Wow, thank you. Okay, now that's clear. Now, in the electoral college, you provide support, you provide advisory. So I'm a regular, and I'm a Nigerian, and I want to go into politics. What do I do? Where is my politics 101? You mentioned some things about getting into a party. That's even after I've gotten into a party. So where does it really start from, since you do a lot of education in that area?
Okay, is there a short way of answering this? I would have to only
Let's make it short.
Let me try and make it short. So, first, the problem in Nigeria is we do not understand jurisdictions of offices. So if I ask someone here now, what does State House of Assembly do? Is councillor, legislative, or executive? You won't be able to answer it. That's where the problem really lies. So initially, you need to understand how exactly the system is. I'll tell you, the average person thinks there are still 90-something political parties when they're just 18. You need to also put that in. Next part, which is critical, is understanding the constitutional provisions in Nigeria. That is most critical. And one part we always miss. So, Lagos LG elections, less than 10% of Lagos voters participated. Don't worry, it's not only the Lagos problem, it's an across Nigeria problem. The only government you are supposed to be interacting with is your local government. Leave state governments, they are far away from you. Before you even mention Oga at the top. And you see these things, the hardest thing I've noticed in our education and our work is getting people or winning people off the culture they have built in their heads. That's the biggest problem. Trust me on that.
So I start with local government, or how do I start? I'm passionate about Nigeria.
I'll tell you, join a political party.
So I start by joining a political party.
Ward level,
okay.
Your ward is your king. You're king there, because that's where it starts from. It goes from the ward to the LG, local government. So the ward first for the local government. So for instance, I belong to a ward. Let us say my ward is L2. I have to be part of the process in my ward.
Okay.
In my ward. Then, of course, then the local government, because obviously my ward is under a local government, then the state. So the first thing is to be, it's like being in an estate. Yes, like an estate association where you have your...
No, let's even break it down. It's like starting in a cell unit, and then you want to become a deacon in the church. You know the same process. It's simple. Politics is like that. It's not really hard.
Okay.
I'll tell you. Do you know how simple it is to move up? Sometimes just bring small chops, bring some drinks. They'll say this one is the one that takes care of our ward. You guys are laughing. How do you think I became National Publicity Secretary before 34? Nobody in Nigeria has done that at national level. That's how I became. You move to local government. This guy is making local government run. This guy is making the state run. Let's carry him to national to advise. And then you do it. Then later people will say, wow, he's 34 and he's conducted more than 20 primaries. How do you think I got there? 34 just got me there.
Okay,
No.
so I know it's not just in the small chops and the rice. It has to do with the change, and
at that
the
level is very
effectiveness.
important too.
Oh, the food.
At that level is very important.
So if I don't have money to provide food to these people at my ward, what happens?
Unfortunately, that's because you and I are not part of the process. That's why.
So
My question is, if I do not, so I want to go, I join my ward in my estate. I was going to ask you also, maybe you should help with that. So do I have to go back to my state of origin to go join a ward, or I do it where I stay? I want you to answer that. But then I'm coming back to the question of, if I don't have the money, I'm just passionate about Nigeria. I'm even trying to fend for myself. My house rent is due. School fees is there. And somebody's still waiting on me with Omoyiti Bimo. Your daughter has Yawowati Bimo. Like, did I impregnate your wife?
I'm looking at you.
I'm going to ask you. I'm going to
ask you a simple question. How much is your hair? No. Let's discuss this now. No. I didn't say that. That's not what I mean.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that we have not yet taught Nigeria important enough for us to invest in. We spend money on more frivolous things. Data, how much? How much is? Well, why are you guys talking like this?
So it's an investment.
Yes, it is.
So for you to make, if you are really desirous of a change, you must make an investment of your time, of your resources.
I need to say this.
Definitely.
When I declared to run for Senate in Abuja, this was 2016. I had 80,000 naira in my account. I remember clearly. And like I said, my campaign spent over 39.5 million naira. So my job was to prove to Abuja people why they should invest in me. And I did a great job at it.
Amazing. That you testifying back yourself. Wow, I so love the confidence. How did you do it? How did you raise your 39 million?
Well, I decided to convert one person a day. So I borrowed these skills from church. Preach a day. He said, no, it's simple. Oh. Preach to someone a day. And then I started finding out something. Okay, see, you know what? These commoners that will vote for me, they'll vote for me if I come and do a book fair. So why don't I preach to, especially I looked at the dollar rates now, you have to be smart. So I gathered Nigerians in diaspora over Zoom, and then we sat down and I said, you guys should key in. And some people decided, okay, they'll be giving us £1,000 per month. Hey, I've entered the big league now.
Amazing. Okay, well, that seemed a good one. Crowdfunding. So crowdfunding is one way to get, money or funding for your politics. There's always that donation. There's always some of those institutional contribution or donation to politics. I was going to ask you the question. So about the word and where I have to go. If I live here in Lagos. I've lived in Lagos all my life. But my parents are not from Lagos. So do I have to go back to my village where they don't know me for me to now come and
so this
to
question
participate?
is one of the issues we're dealing with in indigenization. You know, the amendment to the constitution. Anyway, I don't want to go down that way. But if you live in Lagos and you say, for instance, I live in Etiosa local government, for instance. My ward is in Etiosa local government. If I'm not going to be even contesting, even if I was going to even contest, I would be in my ward level there. Because what happens in that constituency affects me. Why would I go leave Lagos to go to Mondo State, for instance, to go and start joining a ward level when I don't even live there? Do you understand? So it is at the ward level where you live. It's like you don't say because I'm not a Lagosian, but I live in this estate. Everything that happens in this estate is not my business because my hometown is where I'm going to go to finally. No, you don't. You're part of it. You make sure it works because everything working in that's your constituency is so key to your life as well.
So I would think that
Let me add to that. I was always a proponent of state of residence instead of state of origin. I've broken the boundary. I'm not from Abuja. I ran in FCT. I'll tell you something. I do not believe, and I think if more Nigerians thought this way, we might have headway here. I do not believe that you are paying your taxes here and you shouldn't understand governance or be able to deal in governance here. Wherever you are paying your taxes, that's where you should be. Ancestrally, you are from somewhere you don't even know and can't even find, and you need to. I'll be honest. I'm supposed to be from Kwara State. I'm supposed to be from Offa. I've never seen the place. And it's a problem because I'm even married to an Akwa Ibom woman. So I've lost. I'm serious, I've lost. Don't even look for me. I've lost.
Nigerian, absolutely. Okay, do we have our questions now, please? Bolu, do we have our questions? Okay. Yes, please. Yes. Thank you. Okay, so my next question is to you. So I was going to ask you about a practice that I have noticed. So a number of people, especially technocrats, professionals and all, prefer to support candidates that are not, popular in main political parties, because we believe that those people have ideologies. They come with aspire, all this, they've packaged all the story. I'm not saying they're not right. Technocrats who then join politics and want to make things happen. We saw a number of that, which was really impressive. Independent, were they independent? Well, they were in other parties for last election. So they were in other parties that were not the main party. So I think it's possible. We've seen ABGA, we've seen other parties rise with, candidates who win and eventually, who run and eventually win. But why do we find a lot of people, professionals, Christians, as we would have it as well, who would rather than, align or join a mainstream political party, would prefer to go and join, for want of a better word, I don't want to call it a fringe, but just an unknown one or an upcoming one and all of that. When you are really desirous of change, why can't you join in the established ones already?
It's also part of the thought process of the ideological person. So say, this party is bad. I'll tell you officially, no party in Nigeria is bad. What we might consider bad are maybe a few players in the party. It does not make the party bad. So if party A is doing this, party B is doing that, why don't you get a critical mass and stop that kind of action in party A? It's that simple. But no, we want, and I've noticed something with Nigeria, we want something ready-made. And I would also like to point here at the ideological people. I'm one of them, so it's not like I'm talking about myself too. They want an easy way to the ticket. Now, if you are in one of the other parties, I wouldn't say small. No party is small.
Yeah.
So if you are in one of the other parties, it's easier to win a primaries because they don't even have anybody who is in Lagos State in the party. So if you just come and say, I want to be a State House of Assembly at TUSA, you easily get it because there's nobody even in the party. So you just run and you appear there. Do you understand? They're already there. And that's the easy ideological way. You can't in 20, and this is not done anywhere in the world. I need to say this. This is not done anywhere in the world. You cannot in 2022 come out and say you're running in 2023. No matter how big you are, it won't work. Running for office is a long time. So I'm thinking of this church. I can't say it here. Okay, I'm thinking of running for one particular office in 2031. I won't call the office. In 2031. And I've started my work since 2019. You don't just appear, or power doesn't just appear off, or the way she's going, she won't just appear in the house, right? You started work since last elections, right? And she's put in the work, and you're still running this time. Do you know the amount of work you've put in? Now imagine someone just waking up and they just say, not too young to run, man. I need to jump into this conversation. You can't match her. Being honest. So we need to get that off.
Okay, thank you. I think that you're absolutely spot on. You don't just up and go. That's not it. There's a process. There's a work that needs to be done. And Miriam Loco had emphasized the process. There's a process to this. There's a process to this. Now, they say if you're doing politics, be ready to dine with the devil. Your fork has to be really long. I don't know if you had 3-course meal, if you had 1 course. But I want to know, someone's asking here that our uncle joined politics. 2 of my uncles ran for electoral office or elections. One became totally broke, and the other came back with tales of heavy juju that nearly killed him. How do you suggest I now put my head? Where is the safe zone? I really want to be safe. I love Nigeria. And I, like the Bible says, I do not love my life unto death, Abby. I will die for Jesus. But will I die for Nigeria is another question. Please.
Okay. So, I hear what she's saying. So when I started, I think at first I just thought, it was just about running, And the reason I started running was because I said I was tired, and then I didn't see competent people out there. So I think for the first few months, I was praying in my house jejely, I'm just coming and just saying I wanted to run. When I realized that this thing passed this kind level, I set up a prayer chain. So I had people that were praying for me. I had people that were standing in the gap for me. You can't go into politics without those things. Not even as a Christian. You have to have that. You have to know that they're going to be diabolic. The first time one man came into my office and said, Ekpele, how are you, ma? I said, fine. He said, do I want to win this election? I was like, what kind of question is that? In my mind, I didn't say. He said, what's your mother's maiden name? I was like, huh? What's my mother's maiden name? I was like, sorry, sir. Why do you need my mother's maiden name? Oh, Amalo Fisheshe, Amalo Kiniko. I froze. That was how petrified I was. I froze because I did not see it coming. I did not expect it. Even if you know that it's there, you don't see things that they'll come and ask you like that straight away. What's your mother's maiden name? Want to go somewhere and go and do whatever. So those things are there. I won't lie. But you see, you have to fortify yourself. And it's only with the word of God. We all have to pray. We have to stay in the place of prayer. We were doing all that time. In the 7 days of a week, I was fasting 5 days. If I was going out to campaign, I was fasting. I wasn't even drinking water until I get back home, And sometimes I can get back home at 10. Sometimes I won't even break my fast until 10. It's not something that you do lightly. So it's not something, because of the diabolic and because we're who we are. We can't throw that away. Africans, it's just there. There's nothing we can do, but we have to show that the greater is it than it is us, than it is in the world.
Yeah, so she said her uncle was broke. I'll try and come to the two ends. Her uncle was broke, and then the diabolic nature. One of the incidences. So I'll put it like this. My name is Kule Lawal. I was born to a Muslim dad and a Catholic mom. And I was allowed to choose my religion at 10. Don't worry, that's a long story. But it gets back to why this guy came to meet me. So this guy comes during the campaigns and says in Hausa, this conversation is in Hausa, which is my first language. And then he says that I should check the pictures on his phone, see the kind of people he's with. And I see quite, some top guys. This is Abuja, so we know the top guys. Top guys, top-notch politicians. And I say I was worked with them. Now, all he needed from me was my wedding ring, and we'll dump it in. There's an attempt to have water in Abuja that we call Jabi Lake. You push not laugh at us because you have the ocean. Then I know Lagos people are always laughing at us. So he said I should dump it in the lake, and anybody that looks at my poster will vote for me. I looked at it and I remember that my ring is a covenant between myself, the church, and my wife. This woman is sitting down there. She didn't say anything. I'll now remove this thing. I'll go and because I want to win an election. No, it's not that important. So I will say something. I didn't think I was a Christian until I attempted to run for office. That's when I knew what was going on. Trust me, you wake up to real realities. Now, as regards broke, will you be broke after an election? Yes, anybody in the world will. Trust me, have you heard of post-election depression? It's real. so you probably won't be able to type well, you won't be able to think well. But, okay, it depends on how you choose to handle yourself. So I come from a branding and startup. I helped startups, consultancy generally. And then I just thought of it, why don't I do this for political parties and politicians? And I just shifted and I started making money from it. So it depends on how you chose to face the problem. But if it's that you become broke, I don't need to say too much about that.
It's an investment. Okay, do we have? Okay, so absolutely diabolical. How did you mentioned when he said something around post-elections depression. How did you come out of yours? You waved your hand. Did you sleep? How did you come out of it?
So throughout my campaign, my daughter was very active. She followed me to all these things. She saw the people, she saw the promises, she saw the money we spent. In fact, in cases she would go into our ATM, she was doing a youth service. She would bring out her allowance and buy Indomie noodles for them, It was that bad, But at the end of the day, one thing that I was clear on was that I would not give you money to vote for me. So on election day, even as I was walking around, they would say, Madam, even at 500, 200 naira. I say, we know they give money. So vote your conscience. And I will walk away. It wasn't easy. the process that is difficult is that I have 149 polling units. In each polling unit, I have an agent that will take 10,000 naira. I have two canvassers if I'm being conservative. You know, that's 16,000. Please multiply that 16,000 by 149 for me, please. Those of you that know the arithmetic.
Wait, but you just had 149.
Yeah,
I had like
I'm not
2,000.
president. I'm not ready for. Oh, Lagos State House. So the house is just limited.
At
This
least.
stuff, I sabi
You
myself.
started small. It's okay. So how did you come out of it?
I respect all myself. So I didn't even realize that I was actually sleeping into that depression state. I was just seated in my house. I wasn't doing much. I was just so upset that how can people not want to change? How can they want to do the same thing over and over after we've talked? In fact, they used to call me preacher because I will go there. I'll start changing mindset. I'm preaching and forget to say, please vote for me. So at the end of the day, they used to call me preacher. When I come, say, when they preach, they come. You know, because it was just that even when you keep talking to them, if they just see the way that it was, so the depression wasn't just about the money that I lost. It was the fact that people were not even ready to move past a certain stage. You know, so it was so depressing to me. Like, how can they be showing you something that is so clear and you're still going, hitting your head? Like, even ants, when they get to a wall, they know it's a wall, they turn around. How come we can't get them? That was one of the most depressing part for me too.
Wow.
So in fact, this is another thing I'm going to say. If you're going to contest an election, if you're like us or like me, I didn't take my boosters. I didn't take yellow fever vaccine, all those vaccines that you need. Please, if you're going to be going out to the public, do all that. So I felt really, really ill. I ended up in hospital. I was in hospital for like 3 months, you know, because my immunity had gone down, everything that happened to me and all that and all that. So that's another thing women need to do. We need to take care of ourselves in the process of whatever it is that we're doing, especially politics, because there's a lot of work. Was my daughter that woke me up one day and said, Mommy, you need to get over this. You need to get over this. It has happened, it has happened. So people don't want to change. And they will still be calling me and asking me for money, that they had a child. They'll still be calling me that their mother is in hospital. They'll still be, and they go and call the person that won now. Maybe people decided to bring him back after like 16 years. This same person has been there for 16 years. Go and meet him.
Wow.
So that was depressing.
But
There's a part people don't add. So when I declared to run for office, I was 1 year in marriage and my son was 3 months old. Now this is the hard part. I don't want to tell you how it went. You know it will not go well. By the end of campaigns, my son barely knew me. My wife the same. I'd become somebody. She married a businessman and I've turned into something else. Anyway, that's a part most people do not also understand. So managing that part for me post-election was the problem. Trying to get my wife to notice I was back and it was hard. And then getting my son to get to know me. And it's not because I didn't love my family. I tried to change government because I loved my family. And you know, being caught up in between the two is actually a situation. Trust me.
Well, that is. So that's one thing to note. There's a lot to it. So there is a health, there is the money, there is a relationship that you must manage and nurture even whilst you're doing all of that. There's a lot. So we have some questions here, and we need to be very
For a
quick.
woman,
we need to be very
I have to
quick
be a
about
wife
it.
and
Yes.
a mother as well. So it means that if I go on my campaigning and back, I still have to come and cook that food.
And do homework.
I have to make sure that the food is ready. I have to make sure that all that and do more.
Okay. So someone's asking, can you succeed in Nigerian politics without bribery, without getting involved in bribery? I think you had said that. That's clear. So Nigeria, my question goes this way. Is Nigeria going to get better without a woman? Behind every successful man, there is always a woman. Our guest of honor, what post are you running for? He wants to support you. So you have a vote already here in the house. So will Nigeria get better without a woman? I know, and I was going to tell a story that I read about, you know, the important role. There's a particular woman, but because of the space right now, I wouldn't want to mention. But she was instrumental to, you know, the coming to fore of whoever it is that is a major stalwart today in politics in Nigeria. And she's a woman, a businesswoman, a politician who was not like the Adedibus of those worlds. She didn't break down walls, she didn't fight, she didn't carry gun, but she did her work and she created such an impact. Not like King of Boys, in this case, she was really powerful, influencing change. So yes, I think that a woman is required for change to happen truly in this country. Yes, I agree. My own stance.
You want me to
no,
respond?
I don't want you to
No,
respond.
let me respond to that. I
Briefly,
want to respond.
2 seconds.
That's the end of 2 seconds.
Okay, then.
No, but seriously, I'm a product of 3 women. So politically, Professor Remi Shonaya. My first radio interview was because my wife told me I love drinking Nutri-C. They are abused to sugar, kind of my northern thing. But because I started adding Nutri-C thoughts at the end of my social media posts, that's how I got. So I owe my wife my first radio and TV, and I've done more than 1,000. I've done a lot.
Right.
And then my mom, I was raised by quite a tough mom. My mom is a professor, and she always demanded more from me. So I'm a product of 3 women. So how can I discuss politics without women?
Without women.
It's not possible.
Yeah. Okay, so how do we eradicate godfatherism? I was going to get to that question. How do we eradicate godfatherism and political thuggery, intimidation in Nigerian politics, Nigerian government as a whole? Yes, please, can we quickly answer that?
Do you want to?
Godfatherism.
It's simple.
It would have been
Okay,
nice
you
for
want-
you. Yeah.
Okay. So godfatherism is real. As I am now, I don't have a godfather. And that's because I went through the process from the very beginning, and I went like that. But that's not to say that you won't have a mentor. So you see, it is actually a mentor that will turn to this godfatherism thing. In every sector, you have to have a mentor. In the church, we have mentors that mentor the younger women. I believe that's the ministry I believe in, that we need to mentor the younger women. So like that. So I have political mentors. I have women that I will go and meet. I have mama that will go and meet. I have, that I will go and meet, that have experience, that will mentor me through the process. It's not what I decide to do. So if they give me money, does that make them my godfather or godmother? Like, I wanted to buy my farm, even though it didn't cost a lot. There was a woman that first sowed the seed in my life about, joining this other party that I've gone to. I called her and she sent me the money for my farm straight away. So is she my godmother now? Without now, as a result, tell me what to do or how to go about it. So godfatherism is real, but it's what you make of it. I've never experienced it, so maybe he has, and he can speak on it.
Well,
I think-
I would say this, and like I said, I'll always answer as a politician. So I have 2 godfathers. I'm not even hiding them. The question is, who are my 2 godfathers? Well, I'll tell you, the Nigerian Constitution and the next generation.
Interesting. Amazing. Absolutely. Okay, so now there's a question around the mindset, which we've established here. A lot of reorientation and paradigm shift that needs to happen. So one's asking, how would you help in changing the wrong culture, more or less mindset of Nigerians about politics that's been built over the years? You run the Electoral College. Can you just briefly talk about what you do in that space?
Okay,
just
so
quickly?
the Electoral College, for free, trains the electorate. Our concentration is on the electorate because we believe that if the electorate understood what was going on, candidates cannot bamboozle them. So we run a 27-course model virtually. Sometimes we've handled physical courses, but it's 27 courses. It's free, it's online. You can Google the Electoral College. It's 27-course model. It walks you through manifesto and agenda so that she can't tell you what she cannot do. She's the politician now, so I can point it to her. Me, I'm retired politician. So we go through manifesto, agenda, the use of the 4th estate in the democracy, executive, local government. There are more than 27 topics. Those are just top of my head. And we're doing a lot. You can Google the
So
Electoral
that's
College.
available?
We're doing a lot.
So people
Doing a
can
lot,
join
yes.
and look at that, and that's open to anyone
Yes,
who wants
open
to join the
it's
Electoral
open to
College.
anyone, especially women. And trust me on that. They'll tell you I do not take a class except I understand that the attendance parity is at least 47-53 between men and women. I don't.
That's great. That's great. Can a student get involved in politics? I'll stay. Of course, yes. Are you of age? Yes. You
Wait,
are.
I don't understand. Wait, let's clear this. Even in the Bible is full of politicians.
Yes, definitely.
Joseph. What do you think Prime Minister is?
Daniel.
What did you
So, there are plenty. Okay, Nehemiah. Okay. Politics is a dirty game. Statistics in Nigeria has shown us that intellectuals stand no chance against stoics and seemingly diabolical men. How can an intellectual beat the big game? I thought they've spoken about that here.
let me state
No,
something.
sure.
With the Electoral College, I advise all political parties, and I sit down with the hierarchy. And I'm an intellectual, so how do I beat the game? Invent a new game they can't play and beat them at it. Full stop.
Amazing. So that's it. In fact, that also speaks to the Christian participation in the party. So when you get in there, you can create your own climate in the party. You do not have to join the bandwagon. You can create and make a change happen when you get in there. But the first thing is get a foot in and start something. Okay.
Yes, and then speaking on that, sometimes when they have meetings, I'm not even there. I don't have to be there. They will say, she no go agree.
She no go agree.
They know. They will say she no go agree. So before I even come to that thing, someone has come to them and say, this is what they say they want to do, but they say you no go agree. I say, I thank God for that. And I keep asking God that, God, please, let it be that thing that they will say about me all the time, that I will not be part of a process that does not work, or a part of a process that brings about corruption, or a part of a process that is diabolic.
Amazing.
So let them keep saying that.
That means you must stand for something.
Stand for compromise. I don't believe in compromising. I can be quiet, but once it's going, so there are certain things yardsticks that I use. Is it going against my Christian belief? That's number one. Once it's going against that, no matter who you are, whatever the party, whatever the position is, I put a stop to it. So you have to have yardsticks yourself.
Okay, so someone is asking here that, thank you, that's so correct, sorry. Setting your own standard, running by your own values, ensuring that you are who you are. You know your own self, your identity, and you do not let those external factors also drive you to what you do not represent, change you, because you join politics. Come on. Okay, so women not attending night meetings, that's why I'm asking you that. Women not attending night meetings, how would they know when the selection is made? Selections are not made at night, though. Well, maybe I'm wrong.
Some meetings happen at night. I'll tell you about a meeting that happened one day, and it only happened like twice when I was contesting in 2019. So we had started the process. I didn't wake up in 2019 so I wanted to contest. I started in 2017. I joined a party, and like everybody else, I was thinking like a third force party, because I was believing that, a third force is what it is. Now I'm not in the third force party anyway. So there was a meeting that was going to happen, and I'd been at the meeting. It didn't hold. Someone called me, and oddly called me later on at about 1. That my phone kept ringing, and I what said they don't start that meeting, Madam. And I knew that I had to be at that meeting. So what did I do? I hope my husband is not listening. Anyway, I just quickly, I snuck into the bathroom, brushed my teeth, took my slippers, didn't wear it out of the room, ran out downstairs, and called my sister to say, this is where I'm going to, so that somebody knows where I'm going, and then called my daughter, and we went there. I went to the meeting. When they saw me, they were in shock. I didn't stay, but I just wanted them to know that I knew that they were having that meeting. And I quickly went back home and crawled into bed gently and just sat down. I'm not saying do it to women. It's not right, but that's what I don't want to lie in the house of the Lord.
Oh, my God. Well, what needed to be done, absolutely. So voting for people at the end, they take out of court settlements without involving people that voted for them. I'm not sure there's out of court settlement in elections, is there? But more or less, people support people, they vote for candidates, and then at the end of the day, this candidate does not win, but you see that this candidate is now buddies with the party that won, and they are now cozy and all of that, gets political appointment, gets contract, gets all of those. That's shattering to the person who voted and was like rooting for this person. It's what we see here.
Can I talk on that, please? You see, we are easily deceived. When in 2019, they were like, how many political parties? Everybody was like, they cannot fit agree among themselves. So people sponsor, big parties sponsor other parties. So that you yourselves won't know what to do. So that they can cause that confusion in your midst. Because they understand Nigerians. They're Nigerians now. We're not aliens. The leaders are Nigerians, just like us. So they understand the process and they play the game. So they sponsor. So people come and say, all of them, I don't feel agree. Wasting that they don't, they waste our time. We don't go vote for you. We go vote for the big one. But because you don't understand that is what they've done there. So they brought about that confusion. So when you now say, the person, and then parties, there are a lot of trading going on. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a trading platform. You know how they do stock exchange? It happens. The first time I ever saw it in my life, I was asking, what are they selling? What are they buying? Because I was totally confused. I just heard figures going up and down, up and down. What are they buying? What are they selling? So it happens. Absolutely. So, it's not saying that. Someone said to me lately that, so if someone, like now I'm saying I want to contest, someone can come and say, and this is being honest, someone can say, you know what, we have a different candidate. We know you're going to give him a run or whatever, or step down, I will give you a certain amount. It happens. It does happen.
So what should you do as a Christian?
So, basically, it's what you went there for now. Some people go there just for that. Some people go there just so that they can, some people go there so that they can just get a position. So that at the end of the day, they'll be noticeable. People will notice them and give them, say, okay, come down, step down and get that. It is a trading platform.
Well, that's what it is. But it then comes back, which is what comes back to us as Christians, saying, why are you there? Your passion drove you there. Your patriotism drove you there. So when you now see that it's now a transactional affair, do you do that? Do you continue in that path, or you stand your ground and make a difference so people know what you stand for? I know we're done. Just one last one, and then they would wrap. Give us 1 minute each, please. Beyond? Oh, you want to say something? Oh, I didn't see you. Oh God, we don't have time. You are voting for him. Okay,
Thank you.
Kule, you have something.
So what I wanted to say was 3 months before the elections in 2019, the incumbent senator, who's still the incumbent senator, sent me 40 million. His cousin came to meet me somewhere, and they opened the boot and there was 40 million, and he was like, just take this, and then you can become an SA. And what came to my head was, you can only be offered something if you're a threat to the system. I'd rather walk away with 4th position, being a greenhorn, out of 21 people who have been palm sex, have been everything you can imagine, and this little boy from Zaria was 4th. I'd rather take that as a gift than 40 million. It's nothing.
Wow, absolutely. So thank you so much. I just want you to take 1 minute each just to wrap up. What's your charge for the people? We have heard from your experience, your wealth of experience, being hands-on in this. So here is a community of people who, as a church, the House of Freedom, which we're part of, is strong on ensuring that its people are educated, are involved, and are driving change, one community at a time. And then at the leadership and at the top level, we're involved also, in making intergovernmental, changes and all of that. Now, we're here and we have heard all that you have said. What do we run with as a people? We will get our PVC. We'll go to our wards and register. We will try to save some money or go the way we are. We will work with the Lord with faith and with all that we can. What's your last take on that? And also you, madam.
Okay, Nigeria has never had a PVC problem. As of 2019, we had 73 million registered voters. But guess who came to the game? 28 million people participated for presidency. When it gets to governorship, it drops to about 19 million. When it gets to local state house of assembly, it drops. That's across Nigeria. It drops to about 12 million. When it gets to local government, it is below 5 million. It is sad. You don't have a PVC problem. Become part of a party. Anyone. No party is bad. Rise, be the difference in that party.
Yes.
Instrument change, drive the real directions. There are people like Kule Lawal that would answer you. I'm not a celebrity. Send me a message, I will answer you. People have my phone numbers. I'm a simple person. I don't live that kind of life. There's more to this country. If you've traveled as I've traveled across this country, as you know, I have many routes. I've traveled around this country. You will know this is a country worth fighting for. The only people who believe in Nigeria that they are marginalized are us, the beneficiary elite that are always dragging over things. If you go to the grassroots, the basic place in Ohapia, let's say in Abia State, everybody's ready to help you because you have a bad tire. They're ready to help you, ready to do anything for you. We're the only ones fighting over the big resources of Nigeria, and we really should stop it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam, your last note.
Thank you very much, everyone. So for me too, it will be about participation. It is very key. Just use it. I mean, when it's saying statistics about 99%, clinical percent, it might be confusing. The present governor we have here won by 700 and something. That's all. I mean, what's the population of your church? What's the population of everyone around? So I'm going to say it is very important that you go past, like you said, the PVC collection and collect your PVCs. There's so many lying around there. But actually voting and staying at the polling booth to be part of the process is very important. Because when you leave it and you go away, anything can happen from there. Collation centers have been known to be the places where things are changed. And I can tell you categorically, I go to the collation center. The last time I was in 1 till 1:30 a.m., they almost beat me up before we ran out of the place. So please, and I mean, I can't be one-man army. I need people to be with me and help me in the process.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, our panelists. We appreciate your time and all the knowledge shared. Thank you. Please, let's do justice to that. Thank you.
Thanks for watching the Potter's House of Lagos Global Broadcast. For more information, please visit www.thepottershouseoflagos.org. You can also follow us on all our social media platforms to stay up to date with everything we're doing here in this ministry. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.